Rob the host with his mic like a knife. Cut through the dark, slice stories of life. Whisper shiver down the hall tonight. Phantoms aching for a chance to ignite.
I'm Rob. This is OopsAllGhosts, a place where people share their paranormal stories live. So if you got a paranormal experience or encounter that you would like to share, feel free to hit me up. We'd love to have you on to talk about it. Just tell your story. Right now, we're just doing Reddit haunted stories on Paranormal Encounter Reddit. So welcome in, everybody. Sit back, relax, and we're going to get spooky. Let's see. This was posted 9 hours ago. It's got 34 upvotes already as well by Jetta Spool. 11 comments. It was summer 2009. My family and I went to my uncle's house for a family dinner. It was my grandma's birthday. It was maybe 17 or 1800, and my cousins and I were playing in the garden, hide and seek, and it was my turn to hide. My uncle had this big old tree, and right to its side he had some type of small shed where he kept tools and garden equipment inside cardboard boxes. It was a perfect place to hide, so I went inside and surrounded myself with boxes and tools. I stood there for like 5 minutes, just waiting. I could see the shed door from a small aperture between the boxes that surrounded me. And while I was looking, I saw a guy come inside, like a complete stranger. He was wearing a very weird black outfit. His shirt was very small, and it looked as if it could tear apart just by his movements. He entered the shed, started sniffing the boxes, and moving his head side to side. I swear his movements were so strange and unnatural. It was like looking at one of those weird AI-generated videos, and I knew I was there, but he didn't look at me. He looked at every single angle of the shed, but avoided making eye contact with me. He just entered for 10 seconds, sniffed everything, and left. Right after he left, one of my cousins entered the shed. I never saw him again. Some people think that maybe it was some hallucinations. Sometimes kids see things. They're not there. But I remember 100% seeing him move a box. And then when I left the shed, the box was positioned in the same way. You imagine playing hide and seek and a complete stranger walking by, and that moment hesitance of what to do as it stands and just looks over everything. I would be like terrified. I'd probably pee a little. So this one was posted 3 hours ago on Paranormal Encounters by St. John Green. It's got 6 upvotes and 1 comment. And it says, "The Vanishing Guy." So, I was coming home from work late one night in February. I work at a music venue in my town and usually get off work around 11 or so. My brother said he'd come pick me up from work, and on the ride home, everything was quiet. Not a lot of cars out. It was cold, probably 46 degrees. As me and my brother were slowly driving up to the street that turns into the neighborhood, we saw this guy casually and slowly strutting down into the street. Not even 10 seconds later, when we turned onto the street, he was gone. When we were driving down the street, I said, "Huh? That's weird. I could have sworn I saw a guy walk down here." My brother said he saw the guy turn down here too and was confused on where he had went. He looked like a silhouette, even with the street light on him. I could tell he was wearing a beanie, a big jacket, kind of baggy, or a big pant, and so could my brother. I went back the following morning to see if there was any hiding spots he could have just ran to and hid, but there wasn't. There was no bushes, cars he could have hid under, no alleys. All the houses were built in the 60s, and there weren't any arches with blind spots. Just a very straight road. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I can't properly explain how fast everything happened. It was like, snap, he was there, and then he was gone. Ooh. I was listening to one thing, and they were saying when you start seeing those shadows in the corner of your eyes is kind of when, like, my depressive episodes are going to happen. And I've been kind of watching that recently, and I feel it so true. Like, I just feel it coming, the heaviness, and you probably don't know. Yeah, I mean, imagine seeing someone and then it just disappears. I, female, 23, was 8 months pregnant at the time. I decided to go and have a 2-hour nap with my husband and set a 2-hour alarm. After setting the alarm, I went to sleep, and then I woke up to the sound of alarms as 2 hours passed by. As I tried to take the alarm off, after grabbing my phone, I looked up and saw a version of my husband standing in front of me, who had long braided hair. My husband doesn't have braids. He was sweated, seemed like he was freezing and his body was cold. He had no shirt on, and I could see the sweat dripping off his chest. He stared at me with a very cold, evil look and was very close to my face. I blinked multiple times because I was in disbelief and thought I was dreaming. I pinched myself. I tried to put my hand through objects because I thought I had died or was astral projected or something. Eventually, I looked behind me where my husband was sleeping and saw that my husband was sleeping peacefully. So I came to the realization that the other version of my husband wasn't really him. I tried to wake up my husband. He's an extremely light sleeper. I shook him several times, screamed his name. I tried all sorts of extreme measures to wake him up, and he wouldn't wake up. Eventually, when I looked back to the other version of him, disappeared, he woke up. I tried to tell him to wake up. He was in disbelief, and what concerned me the most was my husband wakes up to the lightest touch or sound. I really wonder what this was. I still can't understand what this was. It was honestly the scariest moment of my life. Ooh, what do you think? I think I have my own thoughts on this, but what do you guys think? Alright, let's see how that goes. Hello! How's it going, Katie?
Good.
Holy moly, this is the first time we're talking live one to each other. This is crazy.
Is this like the first time you've heard my voice?
It is.
Damn, that's crazy.
This is sweet. You're telling me you've had 2 haunting experiences. Is that all you had, or have you had like multiple?
I've had multiple. I've had like 3 or 4. So it was the one at my old house. And like I said, I'd be like sitting on the kitchen table, and like 5 feet away from me, like the garbage would swivel, like someone just used it. And that's usually like when I'm home alone, all of my windows are closed.
Wow, so like you're telling me like the top half or the whole garbage would actually like rotate and swivel?
Like, you know how some garbage heads have like a little swivel part on the top?
Yeah, to get like bugs out of it and the stink in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That would swivel like someone just put something in the garbage.
Oh
That
man,
was a little creepy.
no kidding. 1 a.m. it'd be out the door. It'd be done.
Um, Me and my brother's girlfriend Danny would always like feel like something else was there. Even when like we're together or like we're by ourselves, we would just like feel like something's watching us.
Oh man.
Um, I'd be sitting at the kitchen table and in one of the cabinets, like up against the wall, a Tupperware lid would just kind of fall out.
And like, is your Tupperware corner like, what was it, an open space or was it like a closed? The door would have to open for it to like fall out.
The door would have to open, but then again, the door to the cabinet wasn't the best quality, so it would like stay propped open just a little bit. But still, like no wind, no nothing. A Tupperware lid would just fall out.
It just come crashing and scare the living heck out of you, eh?
Yeah. What else happened? I'd be like out on like the terrace, like the porch, and I'd come back in, and then I'd hear like footsteps near like my bedroom.
You hear full blown footsteps by your bedroom.
Yeah,
So is there
they
anything
weren't they weren't very loud, but I'd hear footsteps sometimes.
just like creaking on the floorboards, and like would it
Yeah.
lead past your door or just like up to your door?
It'd go past both my room and my brother's room, like going towards the bathroom. That was
Jeez.
kind of freaky. Um, and then I used to work at a golf and country club that's been operating for like hundreds of years. So that place was definitely haunted. Um, they called the ghost Charlie there, and I'd just be chilling, doing like a work meeting in in the kitchen, and I shit you not, there like a coffee pourer thing, like a pitcher, almost fell on me.
It almost fell on you.
It almost fell on me.
Oh Jesus! Was it? Do you think it was trying to get you?
Maybe. And then I went up to like my coworkers and went, "What the hell was that?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, that's Charlie." They said it so nonchalantly.
Jeez! Like no, not just something almost crashing onto my head.
Yeah, and I'm like, "What is that?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, that's our ghost Charlie."
That's our ghost Charlie. So they probably had a few stories of their own just to do that. Was it just the coffee pot that almost fell on your head, or was there
Um,
like more to be like, oh yeah, there's Charlie here?
so it wasn't one of my stories, but one of my good friends, John, he was closing up. We were like everything upstairs was shut down, and then there's the downstairs portion where there's more like club rooms for the golf and country club, so like little lounges. And John went and thought he was talking with a club member, like a golfer, and he was talking to him for like 2 minutes maybe, but they weren't like face to face. He was a good couple feet away from him. And then he turned around for a split second, went to go say something to the apparently club member, turned around, he was gone.
God, oh no, a full-fledged conversation, and like to turn around
Yeah.
and no one's there.
Yeah. The power went out once, and then when it came back on, one of our front of house managers. She went into the elevator, got stuck. She got stuck there for like 3 hours.
She got stuck on the elevator for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Was there like any like clanking sounds before it happened, or like anything that kind of like forewarned it, like pause it?
I wasn't there, so I'm not sure.
Fair.
But I did kind of make fun of the situation, or like try and make light of it, and I took out my phone and turned the volume all the way up and played memorial bagpipes for her.
Oh no! And this was probably after she
um,
dealt with the situation, or while she was in it.
while she was in it.
Oh no! That's like, all right, this is
she,
the end, my
she
friend.
thought it was funny. She thought it was funny.
Right? A little dark humor.
Mm-hmm. Then what else? After it closing, I'd be downstairs, like getting changed and putting like my sweater and different pants on. And then I would open the door and I'd hear footsteps like near the elevators, which was around the corner. I'd hear footsteps a lot. The lights would flicker a lot too. Sometimes I'd hear like a door close. It's all like auditory for that place. I always heard something. I didn't really see anything other than like the coffee kettle almost falling onto me.
And would you find like the doors and stuff like not where they were originally, or was it just like the sounds in the distance?
Just sounds.
Dang. I mean, like I'd still be shitting bricks, honestly. Like just the sounds
I
alone
was
at the
definitely
house
creeped
creaking.
out because I
No.
love creepy stuff. And like a lot of my old coworkers were like, "Yeah, you know what? Like this place may be haunted, but like we've never had like an issue." I'm like, "Okay, I guess I feel sort of better."
Right? Like, oh, I can experience a little bit of a spooky without getting hurt, kind of like. That's
And
how.
then I remember when I was a child that there was a ghost in another one of my old houses, but the only experience I had / remembered was I'd be sitting on my brother's PC playing a game, and this is like when I was really young, so maybe like 15 years ago. And he has a pile of clothes on the floor, and I look over and it's like shaking. It's almost vibrating.
What? So, like, just to see the object shake and vibrate, like,
It was just a pile of clothes, so there's like different clothes moving.
different clothes moving. What did like little you feel like at that moment? Like, what did little you do?
I definitely shrugged it off because I thought it was my dog, but it wasn't my dog.
It wasn't your dog. Oh no! How did you find out that it wasn't your dog?
Because when I got up and like went downstairs, because I didn't even touch like the pile of clothes. I think I went to go get juice or something. And I went downstairs and I saw my dog just prance around the kitchen corner. I'm like, ooh, that's weird.
Oh no! So the clothes were moving. You're like, I think it's my dog, and then your dog's just completely downstairs.
Yeah.
Oh no!
But that's the only like point of my old house that I remember.
That's a good one to remember. That would scare the heck out of me as soon as I found like my family member or like your dog downstairs and be like, excuse me?
Little me thought it was a ghost, but not a ghost story. It was just more my brother being an asshole. I thought I was home alone, and all of the lights were off. I get home after school. I was like maybe grade 3, grade 4. And I sit in one room while like the kitchen light was on and the living room light was on, and I'm in the living room. And my brother, ever so quietly, turned the light off in the kitchen. And that scared the hell out of me. So I went back in, turned the light on, and the living room light turned off. So I'm running around the house crying, turning lights on, and my brother is going behind laughing maniacally, turning them off, and it didn't click in my brain that was my brother.
Oh no, full panic mode is like, why is the house going into darkness?
I know. The way I found out it was my brother too, because I ended up just leaving the light on in the living room and hiding under a blanket crying. And he's like, "Don't cry, it's just me, kid." I'm like, "That was so mean."
Don't tell mom, it was just a prank.
But yeah, I
Oh
think
man.
that's it for ghost encounters. I had a job interview this Monday at another restaurant, and they said that place is haunted. So if I ever get the job, I'll definitely tell you if I see anything.
For sure, yeah. This new podcast I'm doing here is just letting people tell these kind of stories. Like, they're just so awesome to hear. So thank you so much for hopping on and telling me all your stories here.
Yeah, no worries.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's awesome to actually be able to talk to you live here. Probably get back to reading the Reddit stuff if you want to hang out and listen to a few Reddit stories. But
Yeah,
honestly,
I'll
I
hop
really
back on
appreciate it.
TikTok. I'll hop back on TikTok and watch you.
Sweet. Awesome talking to you.
Yeah, you too, man.
Bye. Wow, that was awesome. Be able to hop on, tell a few stories. Thank you so much, Ciatie. A few creepy ones. I mean, to hear like footsteps go across like your bedside, I hear it all the time, you know, and I'm the one that's got to get up and like solve the mystery of any rattles or sounds while my wife's kind of like sleeps cozily in bed. Oh man, I remember being little and hearing that too. So we're gonna go back to Reddit stories here. Find a couple good Reddit stories to read for the podcast. Anyone who else would like to hop on and share a couple more spooky stories, we would love to hear from you. Welcome back, Kate. Oh, back to the Reddit stories. Let's see if we can find a good one. I was reading them last week, and it's really hit or miss, but I guess that's part of these. Myself and two friends got chased out of an abandoned house by floating, screaming, transparent women 16 years ago, but I remember it like it was yesterday. Holy moly. This one is by Kingslayer 1190. It was 5 days ago. 35 upvotes, 15 comments. It says, "This was when I was kind of new to the paranormal and experienced things, but after I worked at a haunted county museum that at one time was what was called the Poor House. Me and my parents lived on a mobile home park behind the property was abandoned house and barn surrounded by trees. Two friends and I decided to explore it during the day one time just to have something to do to check it out. Nothing happened that day or the next night, but we did lose the flashlight the night before the incident happened. The day of the incident, we went to retrieve the flashlight, and again, nothing happened. But I got this odd feeling like, hey, you should leave because there's something here that was disturbed. The night of the incident, as we were walking to the house, I got the same feeling, and unbeknownst to me, the older friend had the same exact feeling, but neither of us said anything. We get to the house and walk through the house and reach the porch. The porch was blocked by trees, which means it had to sit from some time. How long it was sitting there, abandoned, wasn't known and still isn't. The reason we were originally exploring it was because we heard rumors going around the mobile home park that was supposedly haunted, so we wanted to check it out. As we're standing on the porch, we hear the scratching sounds from upstairs portion of the house, so we decide to go investigate to see maybe if it was just an animal. The oldest of the friend group and I checked one bedroom while the other friend checked the other. We didn't find anything, so we decided to call it a night and leave. Going down the stairs was the oldest friend, then me, then the other friend, in that order. We got maybe halfway down the stairs when the friend behind me starts yelling to move. I turn around thinking maybe an animal or something came out of one of the rooms, but instead I see this transparent floated woman who's screaming. Apparently the oldest friend had turned around too and seen the entity and was starting to freak out too. We originally ran towards the porch, but realized that we couldn't leave that way, so we had to go back through the house. The entity is standing floating at the bottom of the stairs and still screaming at us. We found the exit and ran all the way home, which was a good quarter mile or less back up the road. We eventually had run all the way through the mobile home park until we got to my home. We sat in silence for a good 5 minutes until I had to ask the other two what we saw. We all described the same thing. Wow. Okay, that one was like bone chilling. Imagine being stuck on the stairs and seeing this thing just screaming at you. No, thank you. A doppelganger. Oh, we'll read this one, just for something. Oh, it's a bit of a lengthy one. Okay, this one was from 4 years ago. It has 16 upvotes and 4 comments, and it's written by Reddit user Cry For Me Sky. It's a bit of a lengthy one, so sit back, have some tea, and hopefully this will be spooky. I bought my first house in November 2019. As a kid who grew up dirt poor, obviously this was a huge accomplishment for myself and my family. We moved in, and for the first few months, it was our quiet little suburban house with a decent yard, and it was our slice of American dream. At the start of the pandemic, I was forlorn from my job, so I was home for about a month. That's when my first experience with sleep paralysis began. My girlfriend would typically be up an hour before me to take our daughter to daycare. I'd wake up, kiss them goodbye, and lay back down until my alarm went off. When I woke up one morning, I couldn't move. I almost could wiggle my finger a little and move my eyes, but but that was it. That's when I saw a little girl standing at the bottom of my bed, out of the corner of my eyes. It looked like my daughter, even stood like she does, but the voice it had was warped and deeper somehow. It kept saying, "Dada, Dada, Dada," over again. Each time the voice got deeper and almost seemed desperate for acknowledgement. I managed to break free from my paralysis and quickly sat up. She was gone. I kept telling myself it was just a dream, but the logical part of my brain knew better. Nothing else like that happened again until about a year later. Around Christmas of 2020, we always got a live tree instead of a fake tree at my girlfriend's instances. It's a long-standing tradition in her family, and I'm vastly outnumbered if I chose to argue against it. I just hate vacuuming up those freaking needles. I digress. The night after we sent up and decorated the tree, I got up to grab some water from the fridge. My kitchen is separated from my living room with a wall about 4 feet high with a supported pillar on the right side. I opened the fridge, grabbed a bottle of water, and closed the door. As I turned to face the living room, that's when I saw her. A slumped over figure of an elderly woman who was swaying back and forth, back and forth. The swaying movements were rigid and almost mechanical. It looked like my mother, who had been passed away over a year at this point. Who or what was this thing, and why was it here all of a sudden? Despite me telling myself to run down the hallway and lock the bedroom door, part of me had to know that this was real. I've had vivid dreams after ones too, many edibles, but this wasn't like that. As I rounded the corner pillar, I came to the corner and the figure was gone. Nothing. I stood in my living room, looking around and trying to get my breathing under control. Cold terror had engulfed me at the point, and I almost ran into my bedroom with a distinct certainty that I looked back and find this thing running after me. The next morning, I told my girlfriend about it, and she immediately blamed the edibles. I thought she may be right, but I couldn't shake the feeling that that wasn't it. She has never experienced anything and is a staunch diener of the paranormal. Staunch diener. I don't think I've ever heard that before. So, I knew trying to convince her was a battle I had already lost. A few days later, my girlfriend had already left for work and I was watching the daughter for the day. She normally gets up around 7:30. So I got myself up to shower at 6:45. As I'm dying off, I catch a figure walking down my hallway towards my daughter's room out of the corner of my eye. At first, I thought it was my girlfriend and shrugged it off. But then I realized that she's been gone for almost an hour at this point. She kissed me goodbye, like she always does before leaving. Panic gripped me like it never had before, and I ran to my daughter's room. I stopped at the door and heard her say, "Hi," to her mommy. I opened the door. I flipped on her light and to find my daughter still wrapped in her blanket sitting up. "Good morning, baby," I said with a thin smile. "Good morning, Daddy. Where'd Mommy go? What's wrong with her eyes?" Terrified, but still keeping my composure, I said, "Well, Mommy went to work before we woke up. She kissed me and you goodbye and she left. Why do you think something was wrong with her eyes?" My 3-year-old scrunches her face, and what she says next still freezes my blood when I think about it. Shaking her head, she says, No, Daddy. Mommy was just here, but her eyes were gone." I said nothing, and as calmly as I could get her out of the bed and to the other side of the house, "What the is that thing, and why is it just showing up now?" I called my girlfriend and work a few hours later and talked to her about what had just happened. I put my little girl on the phone so she could tell her mother that I wasn't lying and asked her if her eyes were okay. Mostly silent and very apprehensive, she agreed that I would call a priest if that would make me feel better. Next morning, I called the local Catholic church because I'm no Darren and asked if the parish priest could come and bless my home. I'm baptized Catholic and I'm very lax in practice, but I told the rectory secretary what was going on and she immediately put me in touch with the priest outside of a particular parish who is known to deal with disturbances like mine or worse. We had arrived. We walked more in depth about the thing that happened and how they started. Without any prompting, he walked to my daughter's room and threw holy water in the corner, then her bed is. The priest told me that whatever the entity was, the way it was presenting itself was not only predatory, but likely demonic in nature. He added the doppelganger type phenomenon, not always but sometimes used by demonic spirit to attempt to possess someone by withering down their abilities to discern reality. I nodded in silent terror and didn't want to tell him that I felt like I could shit out my heart and die at this point. Since then, I haven't felt anything or seen anything out of the ordinary, and the house just feels more vibrant and lovely. I still feel like I'm being watched sometimes, but chalk it up to paranoia to keep my sanity. Oh, ho, ho, ho. That was a good read. Oh my god. The daughter saying mommy had no eyes, that was just bone chilling scary. Can you imagine your little girl saying, why does mommy have no eyes? Like, no, I'm moving. Hello everybody, thanks once again for hitting the end of the podcast here. I hope you enjoyed a couple of bone chilling stories on Reddit here. Even the ability to chat to Ciatie there one-on-one, which is where this podcast wants to go, so that was amazing. And thank you again, Ciatie, for hopping on and sharing your paranormal stories with us. What would greatly help the channel out is hitting that subscribe button there to follow along to get information. If you'd like to share your story here on the podcast, hit me up in the DMs or OopsAllGhosts@gmail.com and we'll respond back to you. Hopefully get you on the show as soon as we can. Anyways, stay spooky.